Welcome to the channel and welcome to the workshop and Merry Christmas. If you'd seen the video just before Christmas of me unboxing this little rascal, the Saisho TV BOOMBOX, well, this is the video, the second part of that, where we're going to go through and see if we can get everything working on it. There's a few little issues with it, we'll go over in a minute fully on the bench. But if you've not seen that, I'm going to put a link somewhere up here. You can go back and see the unboxing of that, get my initial reactions to picking this up. As a quick update, didn't pay a lot for it. It turned up on a Facebook page called Electro Tap. There was an eBay link, and this thing cost me 29 quid. That included delivery. And you'll see from the previous video, I'll go over it in a minute. Everything works on it apart from the tape deck. It just needs a damn good clean. So let's get over to the bench, have some close-up shots of it, see what we're working with, and then we'll start stripping it down. Cheers. Okay, so this is what we've got. It's a Saisho TCR 500S. It's in really nice condition considering it's probably from the mid-80s. It's a black and white, about 4-inch. In fact, let's just check it. It's about, a 4-inch black and white TV. It's a CRT, obviously, from the time. Single cassette. Everything on this works other than the tape deck. The belts have gone in it. You can hear the motors running. I thought I'll quickly go around just for the condition. We've got a couple of scuffs on here. We might get those with a bit of a silver pen just to clean those up. On top, we've got the main controls, obviously main on and off, radio switch, medium FM switcher for radio, the mode, wide, stereo and mono, volume, low and mid tones, TV tuner and radio tuner, and that's it. This was back when you had an actual tuner knob. You can see that both it goes up and down here. The HF tuning frequency, and you can see here, you can see it. Someone's actually put what the frequencies are for the main channels in the UK. Obviously, they don't work anymore because we don't have a analog signal anymore. But like I say, everything's in here, everything's complete. There's a couple of little marks which I'm hoping to get when we clean it up. Obviously, all this needs cleaning out. Flipping it onto the back. Battery compartment, it actually takes 10 D-cell batteries, which is quite a lot. I'm assuming that's to hook up to an external power supply if you need to. But it's got 12-volt DC in, as well as the AC one for the mains. Rest on the back, you've got the contrast for the TV, the brightness, and the vertical hold. And this is obviously using the air which is snapped off for the TV. But you can take this out and plug it into an external, a rooftop or external TV aerial. Which we might test that on, because to test the TV, I think we're going to break out on Mega Drive later. But the main thing what I'll do is give this a clean. Underneath, it's got a little bit of a stand you can pop out. I'm assuming that's so you can see the TV a bit easier. And on this side, you can see this. We've got a DIN in, assuming that's some sort of remote control, mic in, and a headphone jack out. So generally, it's in pretty clean condition. There's no real scuffs on it, no real marks on it. It just needs a damn good clean, but it does need belts. And I don't know if you can see on this, but the TV module seems to have moved over slightly. It seems to be facing that way a little bit. So we're gonna have a look at that. It's solidly in there, and it does work. I don't want to test it at the moment because I don't want to fill all the capacitors up with a massive charge when I'm playing around in the back of it. So when we get this back out, I might see if there's something wrong with it since it clicks back in. Other than that, it's just a good clean. So first job is going to be working out how to get into the back of this. Looking at it, it's a Saisho, but looking at this, it's got very similar markings to a Sony, where it gives you markers for where all the bolt screw holes are. So okay, it came together apart quite easily. I might. This is a bit tight, some of these wires going around to the power supply. It doesn't look like they clip out. So What best to do? I might just snip that cable tie so these can loosen up a little bit more. That's a bit better. That's down there. Right, the TV being loose. I've worked out what that is. You can see this thing in here. Let's see if you can see it moving. There's a metal clip that goes around the back of the TV and holds it in. It has snapped. So I think what we have to do is take a screw out of that and put a longer screw in the screw here. It's supposed to be in a piece of plastic here. This here is snapped. You can see the post at the bottom just about there. So I'm hoping that if I get a longer self-tapping screw in there, I can go through this bit of plastic and all the way into that one and then bed it down a little bit. Only needs a little bit, and I might glue it as well just to hold that in place. So that's that fixed. That's the TV okay. That's fine. The next thing I need to do is the tape mechanisms behind this board. So I'm just going to work out how to take this board out. I can't see any screws, which means I think the whole mechanism slides out. Oh, yeah. Let me have a wiggle around with this. This is loose. The whole couple wires here. That's a board that slid into the frame there. Let me zoom out a little bit. So that's into a board there. This board's sort of loose now as well. So this will slide out. Oh, I can slide that out and get that out of the way. Sort of. Right, so that slides out. So that's the board for the TV, I would think. Yeah. And then I need to work out how to get all of this out. Let me have a think about that. Okay, what I've done so far, I've just done a few things. I've just found that there's a couple of screws that need to come out. One's here and one is just down there. I think this mechanism will come out now. I've also taken the knobs off the front. These ones are a pain. They're a bit of an odd shape. Can you see them turning there? So they have to stay in the case. This is going to be a bit of a nightmare putting it together, but I think I can take this board out. It's a bit more room. I'll just slide this open like that. I can see the belt, which is completely falling apart. I'll get a picture of that in a minute. Now, how the hell am I going to get that belt in there? There. Sorry, my head's probably in the way. I've slid over. So, pull out. You can see the belt in here has just fallen apart completely. How am I going to get that belt in there? Another belt. That's another belt. So I'm going to have to take this mechanism out of the board, out of the front, which is going to be a bit of a challenge, I think. So it's two belts. So see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws to lift that whole thing out, whilst it's all wired up. Right. And then we've got this flywheel here. Belt goes through there. Right, I need to work out how the belts are going to work. Oh, that's the counter. So we've lost 2 belts. Then, yeah, this thing called slips. So that was 1 belt that went round here. Oh, yeah, that needs to be placed. Yeah, it's just falling apart. That's horrible. Right, let me get this mechanism out and see how far we get. Okay, so I've got the mechanism out. It was 4 screws, as I said, but you can not be able to see. You can see the light there, just in there. That's the remnants of the belt all wrapped around the bottom of the motor. And I think it goes out of that round this flywheel, and there's a big flywheel just in there. So I think to get to it, I need to take this off, and then this panel off. I should be able to get to put the belt on there, I think. But we'll have to give it a damn good clean. So I'm going to give it a clean up, take those bits off, and see if we can get a belt in there to fit. Okay, this has all been nicely cleaned up. Remember, this had all the belts which you wrap around it in a pile of black goo. They've now been cleaned off. This flywheel's been cleaned as well as this one. It needs 2 belts. One goes from the motor to this flywheel, and one goes to this flywheel. So I'm going to size some belts, get those on, and get this screwed back together again. Yeah, I think the first thing, I'm not sure I'm going to do this yet because I'm sort of upside down. I don't want the belts falling off. So I need to work out which belt goes where. I think the bottom one goes on that one, the top one goes on this one, but everything's upside down because this flips over. So let me size some belts, hopefully get that back together, and then I can get the mechanism back in, and then start piecing this thing together and start cleaning it as I go, because you can see it's a bit mucky in places. So we'll give it a clean up as we go. Right, belts. Right, spent some time putting this back together. It's not been the easiest thing in the world to do, mainly because a lot of the components sit on top of each other and the wires aren't long enough to take each individual component out. So, fix some things. So obviously the belts have been changed over. This frame that holds the CRT in place, I've also fixed. The upstand for this one has snapped, so I put in a longer brass screw which goes into the remnants of it. The one on this side also snapped, so I've had to do exactly the same on that one there. So that is now secure in there. The thing I need to do now is I've got this earth connection to that, which is the power coming in, and I can put the whole thing together and hopefully fire this thing up and see if it's working or not. I do hope it's working, because this thing's been not the most difficult thing to work on, but lots of components sat on top of each other, and unsure in which order they went in the factory. So hopefully not damage anything else moving this around. I've not redone all the wires up, they should be okay as they are. So I want to get the back on, add this bit into there, reconnect everything up, and hopefully we fire it up. Okay, it's back together. It is plugged in. Let's see if it turns on. If we got tape in the middle. No power. Oh, plug's off. Stupid me. Right, let's try that again. We'll put it on tape. Oh, we've got some sound. Belts are moving nice and steadily. Right, we'll throw a tape in that in a second. Let's try the TV. Screen going to turn on. Yes! Perfect. Tuner's still working. Radio tuners. Let's try the radio. Perfect. Right, let's go get a tape in it and try it again. Okay, put a tape in. Let's see if it'll play. Yep, sounds good to me. I can't play too much, I'll get a contact match, so we'll try it again. Yep, both speakers are working. Sounding a little bit. Rewind. That sounded cleaned up quite a lot. Well, that's everything working. Obviously, I've still got to check the TV. I'll have to bring my Mega Drive in here. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the whole thing a damn good clean because it's still a bit filthy. Still got some knobs to put back on. But I'm looking really happy with that. Everything's fixed. Everything's working. I didn't check actually. Is the the counter's working as well. Let's check that. Yeah. Perfect. Right. Let's get on with the cleaning. Okay. All works. Just needs a deep clean now. You can see from the switches and things like that they are pretty filthy. Everything is clean. One thing I did find when I opened it up, this dropped out, which is one of the stickers from the inside. You can see it. This thing was manufactured in it was like 1982, probably in September. So it's a bit older than I thought it was. So we're going to give it a clean. We're going to use a combination of rubbing alcohol, and then I've got some general surface and window cleaners to give the outside a clean. If I can find one, some of the marks that are on the bottom edge, we'll get some silver pen added to them just to clean them up and fill any gaps in the silver. Although you can't really see it from the front, which is fine. So yeah, first job is to give it a damn good clean and wipe down. as you can see, it turned out really, really nice. Minor repairs needed to it, more servicing than anything else. Everything works on it. The case is in pretty damn good condition considering it's 41 years old. The only thing I need to do now is we need to test this this TV. We obviously having no analog signal. I can't hook up to an aerial and tune it in. So there's two options I've got. One of them is to wire it up to my VCR, which I might still do because I've got to bring that in here anyway to service that. Or I think what we're going to do is wire up to my Mega Drive. And we'll do a little bit of gaming on a black and white 4-inch TV screen. But I think we'll probably go with that first. So let's get this moving into the house. Do some proper testing on it. Okay, so we've just brought it in the house. Set it up with my gaming area. So I've got multiple consoles here, but we're going to try it with the Mega Drive because it's got a coaxial out on the back of it. It's easy to set up. So we're going to try it with some Lotus Turbo Challenge. Now I have sort of retuned this already, so let's just put this on. There we go. Right, we'll flicker this. Oh, it's not picking up so bad, is it? I think that's a pretty good image, that. How epically awesome is that? Well happy. Right, let's have a go. This may not be easy one-handed. You know what? I think let's try something else. That screen is a really crisp image. There you go. That's a bit better. I'm a bit closer. Oh, it's flickering because it's a CRT and my frames per minute slightly different setup on my camera. But yeah, it's a pretty. Yeah, sounds good. I think we'll call that fixed. Really pleased with that. All fixed, all sorted. Really pleased with this. You've seen the gameplay on that. This little CRT is just really a really nice little screen for black and white. Tuned in straight off the bat, no problem at all. Belts were changed on this. They're all working. The cassette probably needs running for a little bit just to get everything up and running again. The only problem I've had to do with this is to do with the aerial on the back. I did get a replacement to put on it, a short one, but I had a problem when I tried to fit it. I'll show you. These come with an end which obviously the bolt goes through when it sits. Unfortunately, the original one that's out the back of this is threaded, so it holds everything together. So I've not been able to replace it. I've just put the old broken one back in for now. I might have a look at changing that in the future, but I must admit, for 29 quid, I think this thing looks absolutely amazing. Everything works on it. Really pleased with it. The only little thing I've noticed with it is if you're on the radio and you leave it on FM, absolutely fires up perfect. Put it on medium wave and then transfer it back to FM, you've got to wait about 30 seconds for the FM signal to kick in. Might be one of those things, but the aerial does work even without the aerial on it. The FM stations get picked up. So, yeah, what do you think? Not bad for 29 quid delivered, is it? Really pleased with this. Really happy with it. If you enjoyed this, thanks for watching. I've got some Walkmans coming up that need refurbing as well. But for now, cheers.